Hello everybody, it's Bill Peterson here doing some more work on that 41. After spending all weekend, last weekend, working on this bedside, one of the things I thought would make it look really cool is if I just plug those holes. So that's what I'm going to work on for a little bit this weekend. And we'll go from there. We'll keep you posted. Well, hey, I thought it would look pretty cool if I plugged those, so I've been working on that today. That's one down, a bunch to go, but I think it's going to look pretty cool once that bedside's done and painted. Won't have a hole in it, we'll do the same all the way around, so that'll look solid, and I think that'll be neat. All right, so ran out of welding gas, so I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow to get some more welding gas to finish that up, but that's how that second plug is coming along. I'm going to work on these dents this weekend and plug in those stake pockets. And then I think I'm gonna, aside from stripping the rust and the rest of the paint off these, gonna call these pretty done. At least as done as I'm gonna get them. Well, hey there, everybody. I got one of those plugs in. I'm going to put another one in today. And I think that's a pretty cool look for this old truck. We'll see how it goes. And as this bedside gets rebuilt, I'll get that done. And I think I've decided probably to plug those stake pockets too, because that'd give it a real clean look. So that's what we're going to do. All right, well, round two is going to be pretty much the same as the last one. I'm going to, of course, fix that. Those will need plugs. Anybody that follows me on here will know there's very little risk of me ever being accused of being a welder. But we're going to have to take this apart and get into there. The same thing on this side. Those pieces are pulled way off from the top of where they were, so I have to figure out, put those back in. That won't be easy to plug. It's nice and round. That one is nice and square, I guess. I'll be able to plug that at some point, but yeah. Gonna jump in and start on this one here soon and turn it over and get the last of the other side off and get this piece off here. Those are straps that held the fenders on, that those aftermarket stuff that they put on. And yeah, started on bedside too. This one is done, came out pretty good, so we're gonna jump onto this one. All right, well, I've been working on those for a while, and I think I got them pretty much done, or at least as good as I'm gonna be able to get them. Got those plugs in there and smoothed off, and well, I don't know, it feels pretty good, pretty smooth. I don't know how much you can correct any of the imperfections on these with like body filler later, but I guess we'll find out at some point. Anyway, I'm getting pretty close to calling this side of the bed frame done, or bed rail done, and moving on to the other one that needs a little bit more work. So that's what we did. Okay, well, I spent a little bit more time banging out the dents on that. Filled the stake pockets, I think I'm pretty much going to be calling it done. This edge was really hard. There was some really big dents right in there. But I was able to get a wedge back in there and, you know, knock them out to a point where I think it'll be smooth enough to fill in with, you know, body filler when I do that. So this one is being called done. I pounded out all the other little dents. I think on the other side I drew them out. You can see where I circled them with a Sharpie. There's quite a number of them in there. It was a well-used truck, and some of the stuff on this top rail I can't get. I don't know how I would straighten those, so I'm just gonna have to make do with that, but that's what we did today. Okay, so besides the bed plugs on these rails here, I plugged those. They came out good, I liked them. I'm also going to plug the snake pockets. I've just been thinking about that, and I think that's just the way to go with this. We'll make it a little bit custom. And so I'm going to do that, work on that today. I've been working on some of these other dents and dings and low spots, getting that out of there. I'm going to keep going on that, and then we'll be ready to take the paint off it and take the rust off it and think about being done with it until it goes back on the truck at some point in the future. One thing I am going to have to do someday is make a metal bed for this. It came with a metal bed, and it's going to get a metal bed, even though none of the places that sell truck parts sell metal beds. My sheet metal shop in town here has made several of beds for other kinds of trucks, and they tell me that they can cover that. So that's what we're going to do eventually there. Anyway, we're going to move along and get going on that. Okay, well, I got all the old pieces off of that and all the stuff ready to be done with it, and then so I can start on working on this cab, or this stake pocket back here. This one was just as bad as the first one. So that's what I'm gonna do tomorrow. It's getting pretty close to Miller time right now, and so I'm gonna quit. Call it a day. We'll talk to everybody